most of the pain carried by most of the people is locked up in almost one of two places, the heart and the body. I know the heart is part of the body, but I'm differentiating it simply as a way of pointing to where some of the focus might want to be. And on the, let's say on the healing journey. But because the heart is so protected for so many people, rightly so, what lies behind it, the tenderness and the vulnerability and the depth and the real beauty is almost offline. It's not offline, but it feels offline because it's like, it feels as though it's encased in armouring, which is an analogy that is useful. And in many ways it's similar with the body itself, the subtle energy body, let's say, the body that stores up stresses, strains, each organ that we have has an energetic correlance, that is the seat of an emotion, if you like. And we don't really know that because we don't think about these sorts of things, these sorts of equivalents, or in this kind of energetic way in the society that we're in, predominantly anyway. We do eventually, maybe if we get involved in some energy work, or we get involved in some more holistic work, or we go to Ayurveda, or we start exploring Tai Chi or Qigong, or a whole load of different modalities. If you've ever tried fasting, for instance, or you've really ever tried detoxing, you'll know viscerally, experientially, how the so-called physical body relates to emotion. Because as soon as you start impacting or changing or interfering with the regularity of the body, habits, then it starts to trigger emotions, anxiety, fear, anger, heat, they all start coming up. The memories start rising to the surface, and that's because there's a direct correlate between the energetic emotion of us, and the frequency and vibrational component of our what we call our physical body. But for many, these both of these aspects, the heart and the subtle energy body, are sort of either unknown or as it were off limit, and so there's a tendency to live in mind, and what I call emotional mind and emotional mind. They're both the same thing ultimately, but the mind can have an emotionality in it the same way it can have a coldness in it. There's a sort of detached mind and a very emotional, attached mind. And these sort of ways of being compensate in a way for the fact that, this stuff, heart stuff and body stuff, or energy stuff, is, as it were, unavailable, really. And, part of the job, part of the task, is to reveal that. I've talked so much to people in my one-to-one work, or, the teaching work that we do, about the heart, about unveiling, unguarding the heart, and having the courage to unguard the heart, to let down the defenses and allow what is behind to actually emerge, and then that took me, as I was thinking about this video, it took me into how healing actually happens, really. What is healing? Healing in many ways is allowing, isn't it? Healing is somehow weaving together that which appears at least, or feels at least, to have come apart, that is, somehow separate from itself. Healing is a kind of union. Healing is an allowing of it to be like here now, somehow, I think. And the healing can only ever happen in the moment. Healing is not a future thing, and healing is not a past thing, although it has sometimes some element of past in it, because it might be healing something of the past, some grievance or insult or hurt or wound, or any of these kind of things that happened somewhere in the past. But here it is now, always, isn't it? It's always in the now. It's always in the now. And so the healing, the union of it, the letting go of it, the allowing of it, can only really happen here, now, and this moment. And this moment is a beautiful moment when we allow it, when we have access to it. And when we get a taste of that, it's like, oh, isn't that really beautiful? It's so healing is not a thought. It's not an I thought. It's not an, oh, I forgive this person, or I let this go. It can have those kind of qualities almost around the outside, but they're very much a kind of narration of it. But actually deeper than it, true healing is in here, isn't it? True healing is a visceral sense of the relaxation of the tight knot that opposed somehow, or kept something separate from itself. It's really very subtle, isn't it? It's like, it's done. There is a letting go of it. That's what I mean about allowing. There is an allowing of it. And that's not a mind thing. That's why I'm not talking, about the mind, the emotional mind, the thought, the belief, the I person who does this, and I'm talking somehow about the heart and the body feeling, the feeling of it, the felt sense of it, to get into the really deeper down into the felt sense of it. It's an intimacy with in many ways it can be an intimacy with the experience that happened, and to somehow allow that intimacy to open to open us up, to open it up. And that opening stitches it back together again, weaves it back together again, never in the same way. Nothing can ever be the same way. When things happen, and after things have happened, in the family, in the abuse, in the insult, in the fight, in the It can never be the same, but that doesn't mean that it can't be healed. Everything becomes healed when there's this quality of love that I'm talking about. And it is love, because love is that intimacy. Love is that union. Love is that allowing. That's why it's not mindy, because mind, wants to make conditions of the allowing. Well, I can't allow this, and I might allow that, and the mind which we have given all our allegiance to, acts as the judge and jury. The mind operates in courtroom kind of mentality. It has a courtroom kind of quality to it. And while there's a kind of courtroom quality that we're bringing to our healing, it's never going to be healed because it has to go beyond that. It has to go beyond the courtroom mentality of judge, jury, prosecutor, villain, victim, accused, and all of that. And that's not to dismiss that. It's to say, yes, in a way, some of these things, shouldn't have happened. They were wrong, and all of these kind of these things. But that's not where the healing is. That's not where the healing is. The healing is somewhere else. The healing is deeper than that. The healing is in a deeper love that we still carry within us. Everybody's still carrying the love that they are intrinsically on the essential level, in their essential nature. Everybody's carrying that love around. The love that is the totality, the love that is the wholeness, the love that is the union. It's more accessible for some. Some people are never going to reach it or open the door to it in this lifetime. That's just the way it is. But some other people, we don't really know why, have opened the door a little bit to it, or are seeking it in a way, seeking healing. The seeking healing is seeking the union that we essentially are. So it's trying to find the innocence in the division of us, in the suffering of us. So really what I'm pointing to is to get deeper down than the right and the wrong of it, and to open up the love that is there, to open up the heart, the inside of the heart, and to listen in a deeper feeling way to the subtle energy body, and not to get too involved in the thinking of it. The thinking, I'm sure every single person, who's watching this, who's had a torrid life and a painful life, knows the rights and wrongs of it, of what happened, the rights and wrongs of everything that happened. But the healing is not there, is not in that place. And so if that's the case, and I believe that that's the truth of it, then we have to find the healing somewhere else, and the healing happens in this moment by going deeper, by being deeply intimate with one's own felt sense, and falling deeper into the essential love that you were, are, and always will be, and to see how that feels, to see whether one actually, to feel whether one has the capacity, whether we can allow that union, that to happen, really. And that means letting go of a lot of the stuff. Big issue. It's a big thing, this healing. So just opening up the door a little bit to it. I hope it speaks to you.